Did you know that future visioning, introspective questions, and reflection will grow your business faster than focusing on your results, even while leaving you fulfilled and feeling supported? This helps you avoid fear and overwhelm, which are significant dream killers and action inhibitors because you're not connected to your bigger reasons and future impact. Makes sense if you think about your daily concerns. When you're busy trying to figure out how to monetize this thing you love and how to create more room, time, and energy for yourself, it can feel overwhelming. It may appear to be a privilege you don't have and can only hope for one day. This is an example of current state imaging, where your thoughts and actions are consumed with the day-to-day. The mental pictures that play in your head are not inspiring, illuminating, or motivating. It's all about that thing you must check off, that client you must get, the emails to go through, and the healthy food plan gathering dust on your desk. When potential clients come to me in this state, the first thing we work on is changing their current state, placing them in the future they desire and deserve, and then allowing the thoughts and actions that arise from this place. I'll tell you why this is important for you to know. When you dream and plan from a space that is airy and abundant, you're not limited in the ways you can make your dreams come true. In fact, you realize that all you could ever possibly need is right there with you, inside and around you. It's like taking in a big breath of fresh air and realizing you've been locked up in a closet working your dream when you could have been seated outside where the birds are chirping and there's a cool breeze. You realize that when you're in the closet mapping out your plans, it doesn't look or feel the same as when you're planning them outside where there are no limits. All is possible and there's room for all, including your big plans and dreams. That's what creating and acting out of future visioning brings. In working with hundreds of entrepreneurs over the last 6 years, I've discovered that while many entrepreneurs and creatives know how to dream and plan for their dreams, they fail in execution and stay in the course. This happens when the future visioning work isn't grounded in their current reality. Yes, back to current reality. Maybe a tight broom closet is your office space. Does that mean anything? Depends on what mental images you're playing. When I lived in a leaky basement of a possibly haunted house, I had a tray that served as my office. Here's where I placed my laptop, pens, paper, and journal. So whenever I lifted that tray and placed it on my lap, immediately my mental space transformed into my cozy office. It didn't matter that my surroundings were depressing. I was swimming in my beliefs of a bright future created through my day-to-day activities. I took pictures of my spot and I affectionately called it the den. I'd remind myself that one day I would have a larger office, my own home office, and I'd imagine where everything would be. I'll then be grateful for the space I had to work out of and would be motivated to work my everyday steps at the den. This is an example of reframing. It is useful in helping you close the gap between what you desire and what is happening. This is what many women entrepreneurs and creatives fail to do on a daily basis. Look at the what is and reframe. Change their thoughts. Connect their daily activities to their dream. Give themselves something to work with so when the self-doubt rises and the inner critic shows up, they have something they can point to that speaks otherwise. If you find yourself in such a predicament, take a moment and answer this question. What is the gift in this place? And if you're ready to make some changes, try answering this question. What can I transform here that will remind me of where I'm going and where I'm working at? In one situation, I added a red seat cushion and a green leafy plant, and that transformed my space. I didn't have much room to work with or even a budget, but I knew that feeling comfy in my seat and having a slice of nature close to me would work. And it did. Lots of times, women entrepreneurs and creatives desire the time out for themselves. I speak with lots of women who crave silence, solitude, and introspection. However, they haven't created room for it. It feels too indulgent, selfish, and doesn't appear to move the needle. I mean, really, in this day and age, who has time to sit with a journal and ask life questions like, what is the meaning of all this? Seriously though, I've discovered that the quality, pacing, and timing of questions is often the key that unlocks the answers. We're conditioned to speak to ourselves a certain way. If you aren't yet deeply friends with yourself, an introspective journaling exercise will very well be torture for you. Back in the day, it was for me. My questions were leading questions that placed me between a rock and a hard place. My observations were judgments. My pauses were unwelcome. I wanted answers and directions, and this was part of my conditioning. Working with the right person at the right time ends the self-criticism and judgment. How would your life change if you were asked questions by someone you trust with an objective view of your life? What if the tone was different, gentle, curious, open, trusting? How would that inform your decisions? Would they come from a place of fear or trust? Would your actions be more forced or would they be aligned? The way we think determines the course of our lives. Looking back at your own life, you have moments where you decided something, big or small, that changed the rest of your life forever. You decided to pick up an instrument or try it for a competition. Maybe you took a course or changed jobs. You met someone or you bought something significant that stretched your understanding of worth. We all have these moments where our thoughts and actions have perfectly aligned to change our lives forever. When I work with my clients, we focus on this last part more heavily than we do the actual plan and strategy. We focus on changing your thoughts because these will undoubtedly determine your actions. It is phenomenal what a changed mind can do. Deciding to go for it and make $10,000 that month has resulted in clients doing exactly that. From not being able to make $10,000 a year to making $10,000 a month. What exactly happened here? Your thoughts all gather together to form a story. It is these stories run on repeat mentally that create the scenarios and roles you play out every day. If you believe, like I once did, that you love love but love doesn't love you, that thought ties in with other accompanying thoughts that create a story to explain your worldview to you. When you're ghosted or dumped for your best friend, the thought that love doesn't love you meets up with the thought that you're not good enough, and they marry other thoughts like love will never happen for you and that you're doomed to die alone. Let's see how that works. So how does one go from creating nothing to exactly how much money they want a month? It all starts with the thoughts they choose to embrace and live out, replacing the ones they don't care for with the actions consistent with the new thoughts. It requires taking yourself out of your story so you can see your role in it. When you objectively realize that perhaps you've been going after the wrong people because that is all you thought you deserved, you may begin to ask yourself what a different kind of person would look and feel like to you. From the new and empowered space, you'd be able to think about what I call foundational thoughts. The thoughts you actually want to be aware of, like values, tastes, habits, fears, strengths, the things you want to experience beyond the initial feeling of being in love. The same goes for money. When you imagine yourself making more money, there's a part of you that may feel horrified by this suggestion. You're already struggling and tiring yourself out. How will more money, which equals more work, help? How will it stop you from spending more and having more for yourself? Because a part of you sees what's involved in creating this income for yourself, and the idea of putting yourself out there in a big and meaningful way is, well, let's put it plainly, scary. Your mind will want to protect you from that. And that is okay. It means your body is doing its job in protecting you and keeping you safe. You can thank it for that. You can also challenge yourself by asking questions like, well, what would a more aligned way to make all this money look and feel like for me? This is where your magic begins. Because how you make your money is going to be different from how another does, and that's okay. As long as what you want and how you're getting it is aligned with your path. Now, don't get me wrong, there is work to do. However, work takes on deeper and more fulfilling meaning when you know exactly why you're working for what you want. Beyond the successful business and money, what is the grand plan? Often, at the start of an entrepreneurial journey, women have big, grand ideas about the kind of impact they want to have for themselves, their friends, their families, the community, and the world. The women I work with all have businesses or business ideas that will change the face of the world in one shape or another. That's big. But life gets in the way, and by the time they're sometimes knocking on my door, those hopes and dreams have shriveled and gone to hide in a corner, and their only bold statements are the things they post online. When you look at their selling and marketing activities, it's non-existent because they don't believe in that part of themselves. They've chosen to believe a story, one that keeps them closed and cut off from the flow of life, love, and money. Now, I know you hear me and you're like, yeah, enough of that old story and way of being. How can I change? And that is a great place to be. Congratulations! It means you truly want something different. And even though you have your trepidations, your fears, and doubts, you're not letting that stand in the way. First, be open to the idea that there is more for you outside of your current reality. There is more wealth, more health, more happiness, more life, more opportunities than you could ever imagine possible, and that they all begin with one step: the decision to go for more because you deserve it. You do! If you have no problem accepting all the blame and shame and pain in the world for all your past mistakes and outcomes, then you should have no problem accepting all the joy, the blessings, the good things you desire and are working towards. The difference has probably been that you haven't given yourself permission to dream again, love again, try again, believe again, do it again, and now you can, because this is the first step to changing your story. The next step is to accept total responsibility. This one is tricky and took me a good 5 years to step into this level of leadership. If you'd asked me, I was responsible, but my thoughts and actions said not really. I was waiting for a savior to drop me clients and money. I was waiting for the right aligned moment to say something. I was waiting for clients to approach me so I wouldn't have to sell. I was waiting for contracts to run out so I wouldn't have to sell. I was waiting for events to end so I wouldn't have to sell. In my mind, I didn't want to be the slimy salesperson, and so I avoided the activity. Total responsibility meant that I took a look at my numbers, worked out how many people I wanted to connect with, who and what I'd say, and then through future visioning, introspection, and reflection, shared my message. And what is that message exactly? Women entrepreneurs and creatives, I know why you started your business. Its seeds are good. You want to heal people. You want to give others what you wished someone had given to you. How your life would have changed back then. That's why you're doing this. You also have creations you want to share, feelings you want others to have when they indulge in your products or services. You want to make the world a better place. You want to make the world a better place. You want to make the world a better place. And while your life may help you forget that, I'm here to motivate you, lift you, encourage you, course correct you, and help you come up with the wisest, fastest path to your success, because you are making a difference. You are making the world a better place. You are making the world a better place. And your small closet dream factory requires you to think and act bigger so your light can be seen and you can brighten the dark spaces. You can do all this if you simply change your mind. If you allow yourself to step into the dream and vision you have, fully map it out from that space, and in that space of breathing, work the steps. It then doesn't matter what your reality says about you or your situation. You can move mountains. For about 2 decades or so, I was plagued with debilitating migraines, backaches, stomach aches, and shoulder pain. A friend once asked me as she massaged my back, have you ever been in a car accident or some sort of accident where you hurt yourself? The only thing that came to mind was the whiplash I experienced the last time I was in a car accident. Nothing backbreaking, pun intended. I let her know. She said, your back is all knotted up. I've never experienced anything like this except in those who've suffered back injuries. Your muscles are tightly packed. It was true. My back was hard to the touch and it was all twisted in pain that I self-medicated. My reaction to her comments? A sly smile to self. A tight back, my head, my aching stomach, all my aches and pains, they were badges of struggle, of a life spent looking good and smiling, yet shrouded in pain, regret, expectations, and unfulfilled desires. At that time and for a very long time, for all my optimism and hope, life was quite hopeless. I'd often meet someone or hear something that would change my mind, for a moment. A word of inspiration or grace. A light at what seemed like a very long, dark tunnel. Some indication I was on my path, that everything would work out well for me. For when I looked back, it did. And when I looked forward, the future appeared bright. I'd throw myself into exciting projects and apply for the coveted work position. I'd sign up for new experiences and I'd breathe in deeply of the fresh air sent my way. This joyous way of being would last all of 5 days. Okay, fine, maybe not 5, but you get the point. Soon, there'd be a reason to remember why it wouldn't be me. It couldn't be. It would never be. It was never meant to be. A slice of the happiness pie was too much to ask God or the universe. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. Why couldn't I make my dreams come true? Why were even the simplest plans and wishes complicated? Why couldn't I just determine something and then achieve it? Why did I bother going for what I wanted when it didn't matter? It wouldn't happen. I plagued myself with questions fired out of a line of guns, and with no room to breathe, think, or be still, I received no answers. Just more feedback from the world that indeed life was hopeless and sometimes utterly useless. I was useless. It now makes sense to me why I received the results I did. My mindset was completely a ground zero. I somehow expected to fly with no wings. I thought that when you made your claim or stance, the wings would show up, sprout out of you somehow. When that didn't happen, I'd yell out into the world a little harder or force myself to work harder, whatever that meant. When that didn't work, I'd pull back and then beat up on myself. There was no limit to the amount of self-torture and punishment I inducted. No wonder my body was in so much pain. It was the site for all my shame, guilt, worth, name it. One day, I realized I spoke to myself and treated my body in a way I never would with a friend. I realized something had to change. At that moment, I felt a physical gut punch and something shifted in my body, literally. It was the first of a decade journey of listening to what my body had to say, listening to my thoughts, my tone, and the kind of mental images I was playing. During this time, I was self-medicating. This was my coping mechanism. I was experiencing mental, physical, and emotional shifts I wasn't prepared for. I had no idea this was a new journey or what stage I was in. All I knew was that I was making changes, losing friends, and changing my mind about how I wanted to experience every day. For someone who had made a career out of horrible outcomes, this was a very different game, and I didn't know how to play it. There was a gap between my changing mindset and my set ways, and in other instances, my set mindset and changing ways. So I self-medicated and I tittered back and forth on life-changing decisions. It was exhausting. I looked and felt crazy, and the people and the world around me felt the same. Crazy. Each up-leveling experience doesn't get easier, but you do get better. If you don't give up and find it within yourself to allow lots of room for grace and patience, you discover new and exciting things about yourself. You learn to let go of past mistakes, regrets, expectations, and outcomes. You lean into the future that you know you can create through what you do every day. That crazy girl I described a few minutes ago went on to buy her first home, quit her federal government job to start a coaching and speaking business, run her first of many conferences for entrepreneurs, workshops and other events, appeared in Forbes and other publications, spoke on stages, on podcasts, TV, and other media, received her first 4-figure client. All this happened in 1 year and 3 years after I decided to do things differently. That was 6 years ago, and I've only been climbing. Again, each up-leveling experience doesn't get easier, but you do get better. This is because you are now friends with your mind and body. You have made peace with God and your soul. Your whole being is in agreement and wholeheartedly chasing the same goal. You're more in tune with your purpose and you know your worth. That kind of energy is infectious and unstoppable. Now, one of the things I value in my life is myself or personal development. It has moved mountains in terms of what I'm now able to do with my life. Over 6 years invested in high-level and deep work training with the world's best instructors has accelerated my growth and allows me to create opportunities in which I can provide you with the same. So, this is my intention for you today. If you've loved everything I've had to say, you'll be into this. Successful Smart Women is my group program for women who want a roadmap to starting or growing their business in a big way. The kind of moves that give you the type of results I had my first year in business and firmly fixes you on your focus so you may prevail and achieve success your way. We first determine that. What does success look like to you in tangible details? In addition to the roadmap, I provide weekly live coaching, and I'll share with you why this is very important. This is what I've discovered about mindset, action, and alignment. When one or more opposing thoughts coexist with your one desire, you feel stuck. One part of you is let's go, and the other is I think not. The key is to determine the origin of the thought you'd love to release. In this example, I think not. This is accomplished through introspective questions and journaling your responses. It requires time, patience, and quiet. This is something many are not willing to give themselves. They have an hour to watch Netflix, patience with the plants growing in the garden, and quiet when focusing on their golf game, but suggest the same for themselves, and all you invite is a litany of projects, to-do lists wrapped up in righteous anger and indignation. How dare you suggest? That very thing you do not give yourself is what is lacking and you're chasing. In our life coaching, we work on your thoughts and eliminate, replace, or reframe what gets in the way. All the normal resistance that comes up whenever we embark on any kind of journey, we deal with it there, so you are free and clear to focus on your goals. This means you don't have to sit alone and try and introspect by yourself. There's more. As a successful Smart Woman participant, you're also part of a mastermind, and every week you have a safe and supportive tribe of successful and smart women giving you what you need, even as you fulfill your own deep desire to give and change lives. Imagine this. You're all on a mission to make the world a better place. All of you have this heart. What happens when you all get together consistently to talk about your lives, missions, and businesses? I'll let you savor that feeling. In addition to the roadmap, the life coaching, and the masterminds, you also receive quarterly planning, mindset, and life coaching sessions to help you create goals you're excited about for the next quarter and to also review your work. The function of this program that runs every week from this June to next year, January, is to help you, support you, encourage you, lead you, and give you your own space where you can breathe in deeper and receive what you need for the week and your journey. The Successful Smart Women takes place every Monday afternoon for an hour and a half, except the Successful Smart Planning Days, which are every third Tuesday at the start of each quarter. So June, September, December, and a bonus day in January to set you up right for the year. As you can see, having you surrounded by the right ingredients and making your mental conditions favorable is how we're going to achieve your dreams together. If you had this level of support, every Monday afternoon you meet with me and other successful smart women. You learn, you're coached, you mastermind, connecting and bonding with others on a similar journey every week from this June to January of next year. What would your business look like by the end of our time together? What kind of revelations, changes, and connections will you have made? What about the impact of high-level thinking every week and interacting with similar mindsets? What would that bring you? I am certain and confident that this program has the capacity to change your life. It will give you the clarity and confidence to create game-changing plans, allow you a solid board with live help to work out the details, and give you the much-needed help and support from other successful and smart women. You're getting the planning and the strategizing, the life coaching and journaling, the mastermind and networking, all of this every week, and several focused dates each quarter for 7 months. Do you think this will help improve your mental health and bottom line? Is this the opportunity you've been waiting for? I'd say yes. If you've done dreaming and wondering, torturing yourself with regrets, self-doubt, and lukewarm marketing and sales, I'd say yes. If you add up all you've spent and realize you don't have much to show for it, I'd say yes. If making real money is your intention and you want a beautiful, healthy, and peaceful life as well, I'd say yes. If you want to still make the world a better place and you're tired of limiting yourself, take a moment and think about how being a successful, smart woman will change your life. This could be the difference between I have money I can spend on things I've dreamed about, and I have to remember to motivate myself to go for my dreams. The difference between I am excited for my future and I am fearful over my future. So, the program is Successful Smart Women, and it runs every Monday afternoon from June to January with 4 quarterly meets dedicated to planning and mindset. So this is every Monday for 3 weeks out of each month. I teach, coach, and you mastermind with each other, and this is for 1.5 hours every week. And then every 3 months, I teach, coach, and you mastermind in a 6-hour day. The January planning days are value-packed 8 hours. And then the last Monday of each month, you meet with your mastermind for 1.5 hours. So what is the time cost here for you? It's 1.5 hours every Monday, 6 hours every 3 months, as well as 8 hours in January. And the investment is $10,000 plus HST, and this is due by June 1st, 2020. The energy cost is the feeling that you want to get through this process and at the end of the day. Let's talk about time and why this program is a right now for you. The difference for many women entrepreneurs and creatives between massive success and failure is the decision they made one day. The difference for many women entrepreneurs and creatives between massive success and failure is the decision they made one day. One woman decides today that she's investing in being a successful, smart woman, and already her spirits are elevated and she can't wait to start the program with me in June. She's already getting excited about what she's going to do with her life and business. Her dreams are activated. In the meantime, she's gobbling up everything I've ever produced around business and mindset, and she can't wait to meet and share and receive from other women. She's so ready. Another decides this isn't for her and that she's going to keep finding the free pieces of content available online, cobble them together, and make that the plan. She wonders why she feels so deflated and nothing is working. She doesn't have anyone to talk to, and she doesn't have a carefully created, safe, and supportive container she can objectively assess her situation from to make the right changes. She decides after struggling and losing more money, plus hearing from her loved ones that it's time to move on to something like a proper job with a paycheck, she decides to quit. A light in the world goes out. What is in her, that thing that only she could produce because it's her DNA and all her well-earned life experiences, they die. And she doesn't make a difference in her life or the world. She joins the others who have fallen or gone back to sleep on their dreams. And why? Because she made a fear-based decision and is reaping the benefits of fear, which is more pain and not enough room to breathe. So, why should you take this? Because you have a space in which you can not only feel, but you can live the power of your dreams. They will no longer only reside in your head. Everything you desire that is aligned with your life will come true with the right guidance, support, and training. You will maintain the level of success you invite into your life through the maintenance piece of the program, which is the weekly meet. Imagine the possibilities. If you're serious about joining us this June for the experience that will change your life and make the world a better place, message me for registration details, including payment. Ask me your questions. I'm here to help. If you already decided, that's amazing. That's the spirit I like. Make a decision, get in there, and reap, reap, reap. Lots of good things in store for you. I promise. You will reap and be glad. If you're undecided and have some questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. The next time I'm running this program is June of next year, so keep that in mind. It's time to take responsibility over our business and lives. It starts with Successful Smart Women, my roadmap plus life coaching plus mastermind program that runs June 14, 2020 to January 4th, 2022. I'm Julia Katsiva-Carter, the founder of Successful and Smart Business Coaching and your principal coach. I look forward to seeing you, Successful Smart Woman. I look forward to welcoming you to the club.